Hi everyone, and once again welcome back to the channel to another slot car related video. Today I'm going to be working a bit with copper tape on the tracks to increase conductivity and make the cars run more smoothly. I've been using this on my routed track and on my 3D printed track before, where I laid this copper tape by hand simply by applying it, removing the tape and then running it along the edges. But today we're going to be testing this nice tool here. This is a homemade 3D printed copper tape applicator. I couldn't figure out a better name for it so far. But the idea with this is that you can run it along the track like this, holding it right here, or pushing it like this along the track. It aligns with the slot down there, and while you push it, it will apply the copper tape all the way around the track. So let's test this today and see how much of an increase or how much it actually does for the performance of the cars. Before we go any further, I just wanted to show you the applicator and tell you a bit about the use of it. First of all, we have the copper tape I use here. It comes in these rolls and is really inexpensive. I use 5.5mm tape for my tracks. The tool I made looks like this. I think it turned out pretty well, and I have actually thought about all of the things that are there, including places where you can hold your hands while working with the tool. So first of all, we have a copper tape roll here, and we have one on the other side. As you can see, one for each of the rails. And you will take the tape down along this, run it through the hole down here on both sides, get it out on the other side behind here. You might get a bit poor start, you get a start that doesn't look that good, and you'll have to finish off that by hand. But it is made for running on long pieces of track, so that doesn't matter very much. On the bottom of the applicator, you can see there is a small pin down there, the white one, that slides perfectly into the slots of the track. And the applicator is made so you can either hold it like this and drag it, or you can use the other hand, just see if I can get the camera an angle here, and push it forward like this. You can also push on the top using both hands to apply a bit of more pressure to make sure that the tape sticks. After you have run the applicator along the track like this and the tape is in place, you probably need to use a finger or two just to make sure that it sticks to the track like this. So that's basically the tool, and hopefully it will work. I have tested it on a test piece of track, but I haven't tested it on a real track yet. Let's just talk a bit about copper tape on slot car tracks before we start applying it. This is my good old rounded track, and it uses copper tape, and it works perfectly. This is laying dormant for all of winter, as this room is very expensive to heat up. So I only use my slot car tracks during summertime and a bit mid-season. And when I get back to this track each year, I simply put the cars back on and they run, no problems, smooth running. There is no connectivity problems or anything else, it just works. Sometimes the tape can fall off due to dust or abuse or whatever the cars can do to it, and it's very simple. I just cut off the piece that is damaged and reapply a new piece on top of the place where the old one was. I think I use around 5 to 10 minutes each year on maintaining this track. It works so well. Over here I have a track with steel rails, and I haven't run on it for around a year, which is a real shame, and the reason is that it gets dirty just by standing and the cars won't drive. So each year I start this track up, or when I wanted to start it up, the cars run very poorly. I'll have to do a lot of maintenance. I'll clean all parts of the track. It takes a lot of time, and sometimes I need to do it several times each season. So I have decided to start adding copper tape to this just as a trial. I did this by hand before making that tool, just a part of it. And it just ran so smoothly where the copper tape was. And I know it creates a different look than the steel rails, and you might like it, you might not like it. Personally, I would have preferred the steel look on this track, but this removes all of the hassle and I can just run my cars and have fun. So I'm going to apply some copper tape on that track down there, the large one in scale 1 to 43, and I'm going to apply some copper tape to the rest of this track so I can run smoothly on it, and then we're going to test it. Well, a bit of a setback. I just tried to use the applicator for this piece. It worked fairly well, applying tape on both sides at the same time. But when I got to the turn down there, it seriously failed. So I'm going to try just to apply it on one side at a time and see how that turns out. But it is definitely possible using both sides of the application tool to apply tape on both these rails, whatever you call them, at a time. But I think it might be a safer bet just to apply one at a time and then return and do the other one afterwards. Time for a small recap here. I've been adding this copper tape to the track. It's been going fairly okay. I quickly ended up figuring out that running with tape on both sides of the applicator over here wasn't a great idea. It only worked on the straights. It worked fine on all of the straights, but as soon as I got to some of the corners, it went pretty bad. So I wouldn't recommend that. So I ended up removing one half of it. Luckily I had designed it so it could be made for running both sides, including both rails at the same time. But I ended up removing it and only running with the tape on one side, thereby meaning that I would have to first run one way and then the other way afterwards. But that worked fine, and with a bit of practice I also learned how to take off the corners, so they turned out fine, and it's a lot faster using that applicator than just laying it by hand. As you can see here on the floor, a lot of tape has already been used, and this track is rather annoying in that regard, that there are several areas that are below the other track. So I ended up removing that and adding the copper tape down here on the floor, so I can replace the track pieces up here, because it was simply impossible getting tape on it while it was under there. So just the overview here, the track in scale 1 to 43, this is this track, it works well with the copper tape applicator, but it's a bit difficult and it takes a bit of practice, but when you get it, it's much faster using it than not using it. The other track up here, the 1 to 32 scale track, was a quite different story. That applicator worked flawlessly both in the turns and on the straights, so it was a lot easier. There is still a couple of errors from here, place to place, like this for example, but that's pretty easy just to remove it here and here and then reapply a bit of tape. So that really speeded up the process. So it works both in scale 1 to 43 and 1 to 32, but I would definitely recommend it on the 1 to 32 scale tracks. So now there are several questions that needs answering, and that is, when I finish the track, how well will the cars perform after this? will the copper tape stick to the track and stay in place, thereby saving me all the hassle, because I have probably, when I'm finished here, I have used half a workday on both of these tracks. But if that can save me some time when we restart the season and save me from all of that cleaning of the track, that's just perfect. But yeah, just a quick overview. I'll apply the rest of the tape and then I'll test the tracks. Finally finished. This took a long time. There is this stuff from the tape from the back side here everywhere on the floor. I just threw it down there as I went along. There's also those pieces of copper tape down there. So I ended up getting copper tape on all of the track, and I'm positive that it was a lot faster using the Copper Tape Applicator I designed than if I should have done this completely by hand. It looks pretty decent here, especially on the straights. There are in some of the corners where it has some bends and cracks. As far as I remember, when I use copper tape, this often happens. As long as it doesn't catch the cars, or the cars doesn't catch the tape, that's okay and that's fine. But it might have an impact on how long this is going to hold before I have to replace it. But there's nothing else to do than just test it and see what happens. Anyways, this track is sort of like a mountain track. And I have even added a bit of copper into some of the rocks I made last year. So using copper tape on the tracks isn't actually a bad idea. See, from an aesthetic point of view, that's actually quite suitable for the track. So no regrets there. I still need to test it, and I still need to remove all kinds of small stuff here, get some of the details with the copper tape fixed up. But let's just do a test run. As you can see up here, I forgot a piece. And over there too. But basically, all of the track is copper taped. So let's test this. I haven't got the time to test the other track up there today, but I'll test that tomorrow. So let's just get this running and see if everything works. I've set the race coordinator software in practice mode, so I can just run some laps. So the final step for today anyway is just to test the track here. I have placed the car on it, I have loaded the race coordinator software in practice mode, so it's ready to test. I'll just grab one of the controllers and see what happens. Let's test each lane one at a time. This track hasn't run for, I think, 8 or 9 months or something like that. So this is actually quite impressive, because usually I will have to clean the track very thoroughly before running, and this car here just runs so smoothly already. So let's just finish this lap and test the other one.
Driver 2 best lap.
That was very nice. I think I only pushed that throttle down 20%, and usually we are holding it almost all the way down. So definitely a lot more connectivity and the power going to that car. Let's just check the other lane and hopefully that will be just as good. I usually have a lot of problems with this sealed rail track before I cleaned it, that it runs smoothly. But now it just seems like I can rate. That's me lifting a bit, see how it reacts. There seems to be so much power in this track that I'm a bit worried pushing the throttle longer down than I am. That's the reason to start braking like that. So I have to take a look at that. But this runs really great. It's a great upgrade. Now the only question is, how long is this going to last? Because if I need to change this regularly, then it isn't a great idea. But if I doesn't have to change it, that would be perfect. It seems like it has really improved the track, and I think the copper looks awesome on this track specifically. So yeah, let's just take a couple of final thoughts here. Just to finish the video, first of all, the Copper Tape Applicator, in need of a better name, but I have it right here. It has 3 parts. This is the main body. It has been designed so you can use your hands and have a nice grip on this part down here when dragging or pushing it. There is a slot down there that can be inserted so it runs smoothly both in turns and on straights, and then you will run the copper tape down through those two holes down here, or preferably only one of them, and then we have this piece where the copper tape fits down in the over this part, and you can mount it like this. Use a small bolt, push it through, and then just attach a nut on the other side. This way this will be able to turn around with the copper tape and apply the copper tape easily on the track. I have applied a lot of copper tape using this, and the verdict is that especially in straights it works really well, so you can extremely fast apply copper tape to straights. It also worked very nice in the corners and all of the turns when I learned how to use it. The trick was not to apply too much pressure and then just sort of like attach the copper tape on the back when as I went along to prevent it from jumping up. I also think this had something to do with the plastic track here and the steel rail being a bit not greasy but a bit slippery anyways, and not allowing the copper tape to stick as well as it probably would have done on some other materials. So I actually think the applicator works very nicely, but it will need a bit of practice before getting there. And using both sides on it for tape, it worked on straights, but it didn't work in turns. And I ended up just using one side and then applying the copper tape for each rail individually, because that was a safer option and that worked better. So yeah, I will be sharing this model on my Patreon as part of the welcome pack for all who join up. And please let me know what you have thoughts, what you're thinking about it. If you end up printing it, let me know what you think. If it needs some improvements, someone might figure out something that I haven't thought of. And yeah, final words is that this track here is a scale 1 to 43, and when applying it, it went okay over here, but it worked really well on the scale 1 to 32. So that makes a lot of difference, and here it worked in the corners too. So I'll be testing this track tomorrow, and I have high hopes for this. But it made a significant difference on the good old mountain track here. So hope you enjoyed the video, that you can use it for something, and let me know if you have any comments, feedback, ideas, anything down in the comments below. And please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more stuff like this. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.